So you're thinking about moving to Sewell's Point? Well, in today's video, we're going to show you a bunch of different neighborhoods, 7 of them actually, that are here in Sewell's Point. We're going to be starting from south to north. We're going to start with High Point first, so stay tuned. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Alex Haigh, and I run a group of trusted real estate professionals that know this area like no one else. So if you're interested in this area, in Martin County or outlying areas, please reach out to us. Call, text, email, get on the calendar link. We'd love to help you out. The first community we're going to start out in is High Point. Now this is the southernmost portion of Sewell's Point. There's a west side and there's an east side, and there's actually a little island off to the side here called Island Way. So this community was actually started in 1966. On the west side, you have deep water, and on the east side, you have the archipelago and some other areas around Island Point. You're going to be looking around $1.5 to $6 million. The median sale price in here is about $3 million. So let's go check this area out. I'm here on Middle Street now in South Sewell's Point, specifically in High Point. So you're going to be entry level here, looking at right around $2 million. Once you start to get on the perimeter, on the west side, it super goes up because you have deep water. On the east side has Island Way. So this is a great example. In High Point on Middle Street, you're going to get that entry level right around that $2 million mark. Here on Island Way, we're still in High Point. Come over a little bit of a bridge. Actually in front of this property, 19 Island, and this property was listed at $3.2 million. It actually just went under agreement. But I wanted to give you an idea. All the houses here on the east side of Island Way have a little canal back in there, which is really, really cool. Down in here, you're gonna be tough to get in here under $3 million. Island Way is a really cool spot though. I'm at the absolute southern portion of Sewell's Point in High Point. This house behind me, $6 million house listed for right now. The premium is gonna go up for that southern exposure. Nice big expansive lot, and ultimately this is kind of the pinnacle of what Sewell's Point is about. Middle Street here in South Sewell's Point, you're gonna be entry level right around $2 million. And then you have a puppy like this behind you that's going to go for around $6 million. So the next community north is called Arbella. Now Arbella is all these cool little streets that kind of go from east to west. One of the really cool things, you'll see kind of the overarching live oaks that come in here, real kind of a canopy effect. We're on Palm Street right now. The cool thing about Palm Street is there's actually a little bit of a marina down the road where you can actually dock a boat. Those aren't deeded slips, but they actually are associated with the home that you buy in this area or own. There's 35 homes in here. You're going to be ranging around $2 to $3 million in here for a home in Arbella. And then if you wanted one of these homes with a dock down the road, you're going to get a little bit of a premium on that as well. Behind me here, this is a medalist build. This was a knockdown. So we're starting to see this here in Sewell's Point, where these homes that were built in 1970, 1980, and so forth were knocked down, and then bigger homes were built up. So I'm here at the archipelago, and these little kind of monuments here are what depict your entrance into archipelago. And in the archipelago here, there is some deep water, but there's a channel that goes through the archipelago that all of the people in the community actually pay into a fund to have it dredged out every 2 or 3 years. You're going to be looking at starting at probably around $2 million getting an archipelago. The first home that was built in here was built in 1967. You have some smaller homes that are around 2,000 square feet. You have some that go up to around 7,000 square feet. You can buy a home in the archipelago now, probably starting around $2 million, and then you can go upwards of $6 or $7 million for some of the pieces that are a little bit larger and newer. So we're driving now into the archipelago, and I always love coming in here. It kind of feels like you're going to a tropical island. Over here, you can see these are actually the docks associated with Arbella. You know, you can have a boat in Sewell's Point and not actually have the house on the water. As we move our way up here, you can see there's that East Ocean Bridge going over to Hutchinson Island. And over in here, I'm gonna stop because I think this is a really cool spot here. That's actually called Bird Island out there. And that's actually a national wildlife refuge. They got all kinds of different birds out there, like red spoonbills and all that kind of stuff. Really, really cool spot. So as we move our way up here, we'll take a left in here in a Timor. actually sold a house here on Timor quite a ways back and sold back in 2010. He completely redid it. It was a family that was kind of in distress, and this is 3 Timor and has a house and a guest house. It's on an island. Another thing that we want to be reminded of here in the archipelago is all of these lots are an acre, which is a pretty cool aspect, especially when you're talking about being on the east side of Sewell's Point and ultimately ocean access. And all of these homes in the archipelago have ocean access. So there's only 3 homes on that island right there. Now, as we move our way down here, we come a little bit further down into Anhinga. And again, it kind of mirrors the rest of Sewell's Point, that you have these banyan trees and ficus trees, and each of the homes is really, really unique. So you'll have a home on this side that was built in 1967, and then if we turn around over here, you can see this house is a very, very modern home. So you get a real kind of cross mix of age, style of home, and size, because each of these areas is unique. Each of these homes is unique. But one of the continuity piece to Sewell's Point is you can't cut anything that's over 6 inches in diameter, so that it's not all cut down and you really have this old Florida feel. And that's what the archipelago is about, still in line with what Sewell's Point is about as well. All right, so the next community we're shooting here is called Rio Vista. We're actually on Rio Vista Street here right now. And I want to show you a house behind me here. It's not all McMansions in Sewell's Point. You have these homes that are still built. This is probably a 1980s home, maybe early 1990s. But it's not all McMansions in Sewell's Point. Getting into Rio Vista here, you're probably be looking around $1.2 million to start. And then you can go up from there for something that's a newer build, bigger home. You could be going upwards of $3 million here in Rio Vista. All right, so we're here on Rio Vista. We're actually on Rio Vista Street. And one of the cool things, as again, we've seen all through Sewell's Point here, you see homes like this that are built in probably 1970, 1980. This is a classic 1980s build. And as we move on, you'll still see frame homes that kind of have the T111 siding. Now look at this house here. I mean, the brick fascia on the front, it's really 1980. But then you'll get something like this that kind of has a Key West style feel to it. Look at that beautiful little home there. Now this is a great example right here of a home that was built probably recently within the last 5 years or so, and that's on the water. So this is a very high point. They're going to have deep water there, so you could put a yacht, you could put a sailboat, and ultimately as we work our way down, you see all this lush landscaping, very, very well manicured. They do take very, very good care. They really pay heed to people, you can't have any ratty cars in the driveway or any of that kind of stuff. They'll let a few things go. You don't have to have the absolute beautiful manicuring like this home does, but ultimately they're not going to let anybody's grass get too long. Everybody out here has real pride of ownership. So ultimately their homes are going to be well maintained. Their lawns are going to be well maintained. Not everybody is going to have super manicured lawns and so forth. So I really wanted you to see kind of this area and what it's like. But again, remember, Sewell's Point is all about lush landscaping, different kinds of styles of homes, but everything is really well taken care of and manicured. So I'm here in Sewell's Meadow, and I actually had to squat down here because 2 things going on here. Remember, it's Sewell's Point, so you can't cut these branches. So as they come down, you've got that 6-inch in diameter going on here. Also, you'll notice the pineapple back here, that's paying homage. Sewell's Point actually used to be a pineapple plantation back in the day, back in the 20s and the 30s before Hawaii came in. So ultimately what we want to be thinking about here is that each of these communities is a little bit different. You could move just a couple of streets north, kind of changes a little bit. Here in Sewell's Meadow, these homes are a lot bigger. Because it's on that south side, you're going to get a little bit of that premium as well. In Sewell's Meadow, what you're going to find are larger homes. So this is just a little north of High Point, and it's within that Rio Vista and the Arbella area, but it's just a little bit different as everything in here is a little bit larger. It's a little bit newer. I love it because each of the streets is different. Each of the communities is different. But again, that overarching theme that you're going to see these live oaks hanging over the banyan trees. And again, we're in Sewell's Meadow here, so everything that we've seen, we don't see any of these 1980s homes built so far. We see Key West style homes, some West Indies homes. You got some Mediterranean style homes with the barrel tile roof and so forth. But notice all the shade. Why is the shade here? Well, because you can't cut those trees over 6 inches in diameter. That's Sewell's Meadow. It's a small little area, and all of the properties in there are really kind of larger. And so in order to get into Sewell's Meadow, you're going to be looking at right around probably 2 million. You might be able to snag something for, 1.5 if you're lucky, but ultimately, Sewell's Point has all these different communities, and that's Sewell's Meadow. So I'm here in Castle Hill. Now, Castle Hill is on the north side of Sewell's Point. It's on Indian River Drive, which is actually Sewell's Point Road. Castle Hill kind of looks like a gated community, but it's not. This community was built a little bit later, so all the properties are a little bit newer and a little bit larger. Let's go check it out. So now we're moving our way into Castle Hill. I want you to understand that there are other communities in Sewell's Point. We're showing you 7 of them here. Now, right now we're in Castle Hill. Castle Hill's on the north side of East Ocean Boulevard, so considered North Sewell's Point, if you will. This is a pretty typical home that you're going to see in Castle Hill. Big home, newer. All right, so this community was built, later than some of those properties on the south side. One of the things that I want you to think about, again, this was a pineapple plantation, and then they chopped it up into big long lots that went from the west side to the east side. Then they chopped those lots that went from the west side to the east side into smaller lots. These communities on the north were not developed until a little bit later, so that's why you kind of see a little bit more of a continuity. As we look around here, you can see all of these homes. They mostly have a Key West style feel, but maybe you want something newer and something bigger with a community that all has new, bigger homes. Well, that would be a Castle Hill, for instance. And then you're going to have a continuity of pricing, right? So in each respective neighborhood, you're going to have comps, right? What is sold, what is under agreement. And in this community here in Castle Hill, you're going to be looking at, entry level of right around 2 million, and it can go up from there. There's properties on the water that could go upwards of 6 million as well. So I'm here at the plantation, and remember, Sewell's Point feels like a gated community, but it's not all gated communities. The plantation is one of them. This is a gated community. So if you want that feel of a gated community, or maybe that extra security of a gated community, the plantation might be for you. So if you like this content, hey, please subscribe. Please reach out. Let me know. Did you like Rio Vista? Did you like Arbella? Did you like High Point? Let me know. I'd love to hear your comments below. Or maybe you like another community, or maybe another area in Martin County. Maybe you like Palm City. Maybe you want to know about Jensen Beach. We have a trusted group of professionals that can help you with any of your real estate needs. So until the next time, my name is Alex Haigh, and we'll see you on the next one.